Welcome to Dumbbells and a Microphone. I'm DJ Moore.
And I'm Joey Dussel.
And this is episode 2B. It is a second part to our series. We do an A and we do a B. I usually do my A topic, and then Joey comes and does his B topic.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if I explained that quite as well as you wanted me to.
That's okay.
But there's two parts to this because this question is being answered twice.
Right.
And we're doing separate episodes so we can focus in on the other person's, their topic. Let's see.
Yeah, bingo. So you and I obviously know each other well. We've had many days here at the kitchen table, a lot of conversations about health and fitness and about life. We've had a long parallel career with our employment together, and we want to be able to give that same kind of feeling to the audience. So for the A and B episodes, we split our answers in half. We have that chance for each of us to act as the audience for each other.
And I like doing it this way because it gives that chance for you to just have it completely to yourself, kind of, really get in depth with it.
Yep.
This is good for you too. Let's hope you don't go as long as me, though.
Yeah, we'll see. So I got my notes here on the screen. We got the board going. We'll get straight into it. I'm going to copy you. I'm going to start right at the beginning, the origin, and kind of what got me into health and fitness for myself, and then talk about what got me into coaching other people and a little bit about what I'm doing now. So,
okay.
Yeah, straight off, I'll just say that one of my earliest fitness memories is actually watching martial artist BJ Penn jump out of a pool. He's in the water. He jumps out of the pool. It's like 3.5 feet, and he lands on the deck. Yeah, DJ's nodding. He's seen the video. It's massively impressive on the height of the jump, let alone with the water restriction, as you feel that against your thighs and you try to lift your legs out. He jumps up onto the deck of the pool. Not like a Herculean effort that's got him, totally winded. He's not insanely pumped because he just pulled this off. He does it like he can just do it, and he just got out of the pool in a normal fashion. And I watched this video. I was like, this is phenomenal. I'm really into this. And the reason I cared so much is because, up until that point, I was participating in sports, and I did, a lot of playtime. I was a really physical kid, but I was always the scrawnier, weaker, needing to be more strategic or tactical whenever we played. Because I didn't have that physicality. I was a small
brains
small
over
guy.
brawn.
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
And so I'm watching BJ Penn, I think 16 and a half, 17 years old. Just to kind of paint the picture, I was probably 105 pounds, 5'5", real small guy. Yeah. Real scrawny too.
Wow.
So I watched BJ Penn jump out of this pool, and I'm thinking, I want to be able to do what that guy can do, or at least a little bit of it, and specifically in that manner where he looks like it's not a big deal for him. I thought that was really cool because, of course, he's an athlete, but there's something about this 24/7 ability that's a little more attractive than the single trophy.
Yeah, so this is where ours are a little different. What I used to see is these humongous bodybuilders.
Right.
That's all that was kind of present. Mm-hmm. What you got to watch was BJ Penn jump out of a pool, which is impressive. Continue, please.
Yeah, right. Okay, and before I forget, BJ Penn, for those of you that don't know, I believe he's the first non-Brazilian to be awarded a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So phenomenal martial artist, champion in the UFC for quite a while, multiple weight classes. I mean, I thought this guy was fantastic because his primary weight class was 155, which was, the smallest at the time. That's what the UFC offered. And, it was a little relatable. It was accessible because he was close to my stature. He didn't look like crazy jacked. He didn't have a massive bodybuilder style. He kind of had a little bit of a soft look to him. BJ Penn is notorious for this. He doesn't look like somebody that could just really give you such trouble as he could. So I saw him and I saw what he was able to do. And I was looking at this, from my perspective. And on this video on YouTube, there was a comment that this is what CrossFit was able to do for you. And so that was this tiny little spark. And I did my research and I learned. And this is early days of CrossFit. So when you told people that you were interested in it, they would respond and say like, you do what? I don't understand. You'd always have to tell because it wasn't defined. It wasn't widespread. It was really hardcore. And when I started participating in CrossFit workouts, it was an industrial space with a trough down the side of the building where guys would throw up and spit.
Yeah,
leave.
okay. Yeah.
This was early days.
Okay, well, you keep saying early days. Give me a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
how old are you?
I was born 1990. So at this would have been 2006, 2007. I'm looking at this gym. I'm just starting to get out of the house, have my own vehicle.
Okay.
And I'm participating in workouts with a few of my friends. We would go to the gym. We would spend a lot of time doing all these bodybuilding inspired routines with tons of sets, descending, challenge, different machines. But it wasn't really harnessing any results for me. And I bring that up because it was significantly different than the way I felt from the CrossFit workouts. And I was actually finally able to harness that sensation that I was having an effect on my own health and fitness. I was in control and I felt the results throughout my whole life. And I think that's a big thing with the CrossFit world. You know, they were really about functional fitness at the time.
At the time.
Yeah. And I say that because now, you know, it's 2022, 2023. We're looking at a different animal when you say the word CrossFit.
I believe it's a very different animal.
Yeah. So
it was intended for.
When I started, there was a really cool pressure relief, which was that it wasn't about how big you were. It wasn't just bodybuilding where sheer muscularity mattered. And in fact, it wasn't also just weight classes where we were only compared against people your own relative size, which I had a little experience with wrestling. And so the cool thing with CrossFit was that there was some movements that favor body weight individuals, like a gymnast who can move his own self really well. There's other elements that are for the weightlifter, where you have a lot of weight on the bar, and it actually benefits you to be a heavier individual because it's going to aid in the lift.
Sure.
And those elements might be mixed together in one single workout. So there's just kind of this cool reshuffling of the deck as to what it looked like to be, a fitness succeeder when you're in those workouts.
I wish we would have had CrossFit when I was growing up.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, because that style which you were pumped on right now, like that's what got you started.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, I was already doing stuff similar to this.
Okay.
Because of all my years of training with kettlebells and stuff like that and learning all that coming up prior to
parts
CrossFit.
of CrossFit. Yeah.
If I would have understood that concept of how to put it together in that metabolic form, oh man, this would have been my thing.
Yeah. Right.
It strikes me way better than, well, we used to think we were bodybuilding back in the day.
Yeah.
But CrossFit would have been,
I was into it. Yeah. I was 17 and a half or 18. I was testing myself and kind of learning my own limits. Perfect. Because of course you don't know what you're capable of, and CrossFit, those workouts really do, push your upper limits. And so I was able to really find success in this avenue where, sometimes we were body weight, sometimes we were weightlifting, sometimes we had med ball, sometimes we were running, and it was all mixed together, and it all had a really cool 24/7 effect, which is that I noticed the results really frequently. I could move all the furniture in my house because I knew the proper deadlift and I felt myself in the right position. And I had this cardio fitness where I could run after a stray dog and catch my breath really quickly. And that would just happen over and over throughout the day. All these things that I would notice on why I was participating in those highly challenging workouts.
Okay. So, people still don't know who you are, though.
Yeah.
They know why you like that appealed to you, but I know you differently because you're meticulous in learning something.
Yeah.
And I have seen your squats and I've seen some of the other things that you've done, and you're meticulous. So I would like the audience to be a little more clear about who you are, maybe, is that you want to learn it too.
Right.
Just like me, you were very intrigued about every piece of it and how to perform it to as close to perfection as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd say metaphorically, it was like I wanted to get explicit knowledge of every single tool in the toolbox, even if I wasn't going to turn that wrench very much.
Right.
I was going to use the others. Yeah.
So I just wanted to give that a little clear context to
That's
our
a good
audience
point.
to
Yeah, I
understand
appreciate you bringing that up.
you weren't just like anybody else. Like me, when I started, I felt like, oh my God, here we go. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And how can I get my hands on more of it?
Yeah.
Almost drug-like kind of feeling. Like,
In a sense, yeah, definitely.
ooh, it's challenging. It's motivating. I don't get it, but I have to get it.
Yeah.
It's me against it. Continue, please. I love
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. There's definitely that feeling of the consistent challenge where the weight room, the workout, it always kicks you this really empirical audit of yourself. You know, like Henry Rawlings says it best, 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. You can feel like the king or a total dog. When you go into deadlift, you're going to get a true accounting of where you're at. And that's a super great way to sum up how these workouts that push you to your limits, they can actually help you really find out a lot about yourself. And you have days when you feel absolutely terrible and you still do good in the workout, or you even have a new personal record. Other days where you feel great and then the results aren't as good as you feel like they should be.
I understand.
But you're still getting that really clear test, that really even and level comparison almost every single time you participate.
Couldn't have said it better.
Okay, cool. Well,
But
thank you.
I just wanted people to know, like, to know you though, is like because I've known you for years, so it's easy for me just to say to people, yeah, you don't understand Joey. He's smarter than you know.
Thank you.
He goes after things differently than anybody else I've ever met. The way you've approached this whole fitness and health has been eye-opening for me, and it's helped me to see things in other ways that I probably wouldn't have maybe as quickly if it wasn't for you. Cool. You've helped me along my journey, and I can't tell you enough how much it's helped me to become even better at what I do.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Because I've listened to your wisdom said different ways, and it's cleared things for me. So, man, we get to spend more than 40 minutes talking
That's
about
cool.
what you got
I appreciate
going.
that. Well, I got a big smile on my face because I do appreciate that. And I'm glad that you bring it up because, you know, while we were preparing for this podcast, this episode in specific, we talked about the idea of like, why would someone listen to us? Why would they put us in their ears and spend time, you know, listening to these recordings? And one of the things that we identified, and I think this ties in with what we're talking about right now, is the reasons why we coach are a big driving factor for everything that we do in our professional business. And it's easy to say, like, you know, and just kind of put out that narrative. But in this case, it's actually true. You and I both know that if we wanted to make like killer money in fitness, we would not do things exactly the way we do.
This is not the way to earn a lot of money, what we're doing right here.
We'd get a widget, we'd make a program, we would cater to the masses, we'd go along with the industry and say the same things but louder.
Shirt off, I would be down to 6% body fat. Yeah. I would tan so you could see all my definition. I would wear smaller clothing. I would do all the things that you normally are seeing nowadays. No thanks.
Yeah. Yep. So we're looking at why would we have someone listen to us, and we know, you know, what we would do if we were trying to just make money. But when we come together for this episode, we get to actually share that story and identify the things that got us started, keep us going, and then actually put us onto the path of coaching other people. And I think that's so refreshing to be able to share because it's totally absent from the rest of the fitness industry.
Agreed. There's not a transparency.
Yeah.
Not like there needs to be. Yeah. And I, you know what? Maybe it doesn't need to be. Maybe this is all that needs to be here.
Yeah.
So if no one else follows the way we're doing it, that's okay with me.
Right.
I as well feel very refreshed talking about it like this, openly about who we are.
Yeah.
You know, I would hire you based on my knowledge of you, but how am I going to get to know you?
Yeah.
These podcasts really help. I hope these help people.
Yeah.
Really make not only a true
I think
decision
that's a big deal
for hiring maybe us, but maybe this helps for them hiring another trainer, trainer, like a litmus test, for hiring somebody. They're listening to what we would choose as a trainer,
right?
Because of why we coach. Well, maybe this will help that next person make that decision for them, is to say, oh, does this person have X, Y, and Z?
I think that's important, and I'm glad that you bring it up because, you know, you and I can say hey, this isn't the way we do things if we wanted to make money. We can have a disagreement on, different people's opinions. But what we know for sure is that the people who have the most success, the clients who find the most result from what they're doing with us, they buy in just as wholeheartedly as we are into ourselves and our own fitness participation.
I'll go with that.
So when we share our stories, it's to kind of give you a peek behind the curtain as to why we're able to stay in there and to do repeated sessions and to go with it for decades upon decades. And we hope that you can then identify some of those things in yourself and use them for your own benefit as well. Use it as your seed or your spark that you can fold into your workouts.
I'm pretty sure the length of time that my clients have spent with me shows me that I'm on the right track. I mean, they're fierce.
Yeah.
Man, they are fierce.
Well, and I'm afraid that a lot of people would assume, fitness professional, he's going to look good. He's doing that for those reasons. He's getting those compliments, and that's part of why he's able to go to the gym. And I'll tell you right now that if all that stuff was absent, I would still go to the gym and I would still participate because of these reasons that I list here today. Those are the things that got me into the routine, and that's what's going to keep me into it as well.
Did you answer this question, though? Because I have it written down. Why do you coach?
Yeah, good question.
I mean,
that's what I want to bring it up. Yeah.
Why?
So the thing that really got me started is, I harnessed that feeling in myself of being able to feel like I could make a difference and have that locus of control where I looked at the whiteboard, the workout looked so intensely hard as to be incompletable. And we would chip away at that until eventually we had finished it. And that feeling started to spiral out into like looking at the project in the garage, cleaning up everything out there. It looks big, you chip away at it, you get tired and sweaty, but eventually it's done. And you kind of carry this momentum from workout to life, and then from life back into workout. And so I felt that in myself, and I saw, and every single day I lived, how it was affecting me. And I said, I want to do this for other people. I want other people to go from fat and weak or small and scrawny, however unhappy, I want them to feel like they can make a difference, get a difference, and have it for themselves from then on, just like I have it for myself.
So you're not so concerned with the traditional, like, let's see how much fat we can get you to lose, how much muscle can we get you to gain. It's not.
No, it wasn't even on my radar.
No, you're like, hey, you have a garage to clean. I want to show you all the things you're going to need to be able to do that and not break your back or walk into the house hurt.
Bingo.
You'll have the ability
to
do it all, walk in the house and be like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, that's it. To be able to live a life and then to feel good about what you're doing. And honestly, to also have a bit of perceived safety, to know that I could fight decently hard. I'm not going to get tired and out of breath and lose. I can run pretty fast if I needed to. I could pick someone up and throw them on my shoulder and climb up some stairs because we actually did partner stair climb. It's like that was our crazy CrossFit workout of the day. Well, that kind of underlying confidence is such a powerful thing. I said, I want other people to have this too. I want to be able to spread this out and to have other people with the same sensations that I'm having. And so this was a perfect time in my life. I was doing basically my first 2 years of college at the local college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And in this time, I decided, hey, health and fitness, exercise science, coaching other people. So I went for that exact program at Oregon State. Short move for me, only about 3 or 4 hours, and I was now in college. I was already knowing exactly what I wanted to do, and I had my first 2 years done. So I got to come to this new spot and immerse myself all day, every day. I was talking stats and studies with other nerds who were also in the health and fitness industry. So it was
we would have fit you and me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Nerding out.
Yep,
even
absolutely.
From different backgrounds like this, I would have still been like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had long philosophical talks with my people, my friends, and what we were trying to do and why we were doing it. But I had a little bit more clarity than them because I already knew I wanted to come out of college with the best set of tools for coaching. The rest of the program, it's like how to be a good researcher, how to be a good, public speaker for health science, presenting information. That was useful, but there was also this extra piece of like, we want to be a great instructor. And so when I was at college, I took PE teacher, teacher education, which is college courses to teach you how to be a PE teacher. Of course, I don't teach PE. I teach physical activity for adults instead of children, but it really speaks to the educational component. And I didn't know it at the time, but it has been a through line for my whole business. I like to teach clients so they really end up not really needing me, and they can have that knowledge that I have, which gives me that power that I so enjoy. And so for me, when I'm getting with people, I really love those beginners and then kind of giving them that freeway on-ramp, getting them up to speed, and then hopefully they can accelerate beyond me and do more than I was ever able to personally achieve. I think that's just so cool.
Well, you as a coach, you want to make sure that you get rid of as many pitfalls and potholes and hiccups,
derailment prevention,
and can streamline this event. Now, it's much harder than we're making it sound because we're dealing with clients, and so there's this human factor. But as a coach, that's it. You know, you take somebody, and these are some of my favorite people to coach too, is these beginners, right? The ones who or right now I'm working with middle-aged men, and it's like, okay, you haven't done something
almost
in a long
like
time,
re-beginners,
and you kind of remember how to do the things, but you're not. Yeah, something's off still. Yeah, there's still that sort of machoism, bravado. Like, I could do these, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not perfect yet, you know. Right. And these are the guys because when they finally getting it right, you can see it just happens, and they're so happy with what they're doing, and it's like, these are beautiful moments.
And I love that, man. It's way beyond the workout. It's way beyond the scale,
the fat, the look. It's the recognition. And again, I think you and I coach for some of the same similar reasons. Yeah, it's this outcome.
Yeah,
and the journey that we have been on, we know how beautiful it's been. I'd like to share that like you do. I want to share that same thing with you. This doesn't have to be, I go to the gym, I gruel it out.
It's not even how we participate.
No, I do not go to the gym to grunt it out. Yeah. Matter of fact, that's another episode was like, what do we do? Yeah. How do we work out when we don't want to work out?
Yeah, big deal.
So again, as a coach, Joey, I think you and I share a lot of similarities with this process of we want to help people functionally get through life. Yep. If you got to clean your garage, it's okay.
See, I'm just nodding and just basically looking like a bobblehead over here because I agree so much. And it's so much more rewarding for me to help someone that has, like, we're getting rid of a second chin rather than achieving a second championship. The sports athletes are fun, but they're almost like a little easy. And it's not the same effect as the 24-hour-a-day fitness that you can see from someone. Now he can play with his kids, or he can do things without feeling nervous about his back going to get hurt. Like, that is so cool. And if I had to quantify it, the way I describe it to people is it's almost like we take a compass. And if I can change your compass heading like 1, 2, 3, 5 degrees, now you're going to hike 1, 10, 100 miles. Those 2 points are going to diverge further and further and further. I love knowing there's part of that wedge of difference is due to me. Maybe that's a little bit egotistical. I don't know. But I just like knowing it's like, hey, you just achieved that. High box jump or heavy lift or workout or hike further than ever, partially because you know about knee position, because we talk squat. Hell yeah. Like, that's part of the compensation for me as a coach.
Well, you should feel proud. I mean, this is part of why we still continue to teach, is because there's those moments we still get from these clients, these proud moments of success. And we're like, this is why I'm here.
Yeah. And the more that they achieve, the happier I get.
Right.
So if I can coach an athlete who ultimately runs faster, lifts heavier, jumps higher than me, I'm stoked. I want them to surpass my own physical abilities. And if they can, that's great. If not, I just want them to be participating and to say, hey, my whole life has been different because 10 years ago, you changed my compass heading a few degrees. Like, that's why I coach. I love that. That's so cool.
This is why we have this podcast too. Yeah. This is why this is here for us too, is we want to change that person's degree.
Yep.
Yes, I want to affect you in the most positive way. Yeah. I am not doing it for many other reasons than this.
Yeah.
Let's change. Yep. Let me show you. I love this, Joey.
It's cool.
Is there any more? I got some notes on my own, so let me make sure.
So let me see here. I think I got my origin, what got me started, and then I was put on this idea to get into college, and I started studying exercise science. I knew what I was looking to do, and so I was kind of lucky to start on it so early. And so ultimately, long story short, I met with a great group of friends there at university. We formed a workout group that would meet in a garage a little bit off campus. It was on Linden Street. We were the Linden Street workout afternoons and evenings a couple nights a week. We were doing CrossFit, running up and down the sidewalks and lifting kettlebells together. And the reason I bring it up is because this group of athletes was working out with me kind of under my leadership on a totally volunteer basis. They weren't paying me. I had no control over them other than trying to attract them to the workouts. I had to meticulously plan, how was I going to plan for partnerships to make sure everyone felt appreciated and involved and could do something at their level and they're not going to be the outcast. And we had college students and we had some moms and we had some youth and we had a workout for everybody. So it was this super tight community.
Did you ever screw it up though? Did you ever, I mean, as a coach and trainer, like, did you ever feel like at one point you're like, oh man, like this is not working?
I didn't personally have that. I felt really lucky with it because, I was enamored to find a number of people that felt almost the same way as me about health and fitness. Now, granted, nobody else had moved cities to study it, but they were also showing up for the afternoon workouts and they were also buying into learning the movements. And ultimately, that group of people followed me to the launch of a CrossFit facility. I was the head coach. One of my clients was the financial backer. We bought all the equipment. We started the classes. We grew the membership. I mean, it was a really tidy operation. And I was pretty young as a coach because I had sort of started so early by knowing what I wanted to do. So ultimately now, unfortunately, all I had afterwards was a bad relationship with her and some legal fees and the experience that comes from opening a gym and starting it from scratch. Now, because of that and those legal situation, I had a non-compete. So I went to the neighboring city and I did it again. I opened another CrossFit gym. I built another community. I had a great group of athletes around me. And I did it even a bit better than the first time. And so I bring that up because it really drives home the important part of fitness, I think, for everyone, which is there has to be a social community. You have to know people at the gym. You have to say hello to somebody else. You have to have that kind of accountability, friendship that comes from a shared experience. And when it's a challenging experience, it's a little bit sharper. It works even a little bit better. But what I found was that if we're not able to have that kind of social aspect, then one-on-one personal training doesn't work as well as getting people into a small group. So I had this amazing balance of starting for myself, then focusing on other people, working with all of them as a group. And then ultimately, my next career evolution was actually to move up to Portland and start doing predominantly one-on-one training. This was kind of a big shift because I was going from group to one-on-one. But I share it with everyone now because I really think it's important to paint the picture of working with regular people, older, younger, athlete, regular, group, individual. I've done a little bit of everything. And
I guess I forgot to mention that, like, how much I forgot, dude, how many people I've trained over the years.
Yeah.
Like, from the demographic, from young to old to athlete to non-athlete,
the range,
doctors to lawyers to moms and dads,
Yep.
like everything in between. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so you had to go through that too. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that it's an interesting similarity in our career evolutions. This was long before we knew each other, right? All my CrossFit stuff, my move to Portland, that was before we had met. And so we both learned that we had to figure out not just like one single client and how to do great for them, which is a trap a lot of trainers fall into. And it's probably a client who's a lot like themselves. So it's a fit young guy training fit young guys. Right? Yeah. It's like, so give me a fit young guy who's smart enough to train older soccer moms with 2.5 knee injuries. Now we're talking about real ability. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up now is because DJ and I both had this opportunity to learn about a system, how to make a good plan for anyone, how to do efficient screening, how to adjust on the fly. Those are the kind of things that come up because of experience, and I think a little bit better with wide-ranging experience.
Yeah.
And so I share that now so that people will know when we're talking about things on the podcast, it's already going through that filter of what works for the masses, what's going to be most effective for most people most of the time. That's what really matters, and that's what we're bringing up when we talk on the episodes.
So you don't teach CrossFit anymore?
I've always said, chocolate cake and brownies are the same ingredients. It's just a difference on the combination and the timing. So I'll use all those movements. I might not call it CrossFit, but it's going to be pretty close for sure.
Man, that is such it's like you're taking pieces of my playbook right out and you're using some of my own words, dude.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's like I don't do CrossFit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that they do in CrossFit that I do.
Yep.
Yeah. Even before there was that. So
yeah, before CrossFit popularized it.
That makes sense. Okay, good analogy.
So I'll tell you then, kind of the last thing on my list here, just in the interest of making a complete episode. Now, here we are. We have the podcast. Both you and I have our online coaching offerings. Both you and I work in person as well. So for me personally now, I'm doing Transformation Possible online health coaching. That's my company, my coaching. And I'm also working one-on-one with groups and individuals as a trainer on Nike campus. So that's where I'm splitting my attention, and that's what I'm doing now. But everything that I bring from all of my experience and education is constantly brought up in every session. And it sounds kind of a little cliched to say that, but I think that fitness professionals like ourselves are meant to occupy the place of knowing a tremendous amount about health and fitness, and then learning a bunch about the client that's sitting in front of us and making a connection of what information they should be told, what order, how important. That's kind of a concierge service that the internet just simply cannot do for you, because there's a ton of health and fitness advice that's good, but not good for you. My job as a trainer is to identify that. And I think that my experience is what allows me to do that a little bit better than most people my age.
Yeah, the longevity of the trainers says a lot too. It's hard to find someone like us who's been in it for as long as we have. Yeah. They generally kind of wane off.
There's quite a lot of washout in the industry, because it's hard to do this for a long time, particularly with the uphill nature of steep commissions that you split with your place where you're working, and tough hours and flaky schedules. It's a lot of
and the commitment with people. I mean, not only are you training and showing how to perform exercises, how many, this and that, but you're also having to deal with this individual who has a lot of, baggage with this stuff too. Like, they're coming in at a point in their life that this is always a hard struggle. Yeah,
they're predisposed to it being ineffective. Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't need a trainer in the first place. Right. They would just do it on their own.
Yeah.
So I think that we're both used to that. And something that I've realized now as we've been talking through this episode, for both of us, we're highly, highly committed to the act of a single training session or to working with a client. And when we're talking about our episode today, we both went back decades, almost as far as we could. And we said, hey, this is what matters to us, starting here and moving forward and showing you those significant events. When we're coming into a training session, all of that stuff is present. And it helps for us when we do our own workouts, but it's also really meaningful as to speak on, what we hope that the client brings to our session as well. Like, we want you to show up just as pumped as we are. And we're lifetime pumped up. We're bringing all this together.
Yeah.
And so, it really speaks to why we want to get that session started on time and get the most out of it for you, because that's the expectation we'd have for ourselves if the roles were reversed. And it's the way that we personally choose to work out when we're doing it without a trainer.
Yeah. We have clear intent and purpose when we do this. We've been doing it a long time. It's more than just a physical thing for us, and it's more than just a mental thing for us.
Yeah.
It goes much deeper than that since we've been doing it as long as we have.
Yeah.
And I think that shows too that when looking at who we are, you can trust us to tell you how it really is for us, how we felt about this workout, how we get through our life. These are important things to know for our clientele and future listeners. Is we get it.
Yeah.
Oh, we get it. We are not beyond getting it.
Yeah. Not only have we probably heard what they're going to tell us from someone else, but we've also lived it. A lot of those same reasons are things we've experienced and that we feel on a daily basis.
Yeah. And I work with a couple of seniors right now, and let me tell you, man, I am so glad that we are here to help some of these people, because it is truly benefiting my clients.
Yeah.
I see it every day.
That's so cool.
That benefit that we give them, that one correction here and there that we do, it shows in where they are at against their peers.
Yeah.
And I have a couple seniors.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, it's so cool to see them just have a life still.
That's their
the difference.
Peers are not talking about their life in the same way.
Yeah.
So when I get as a trainer, I get to hear this from my clients about how their friends see them.
Yeah.
And them working with me.
Yeah.
It's night and day.
See, I love that, man, because it's well beyond the scale. You can't photograph it. It's so many of those reasons why we coach that are beyond what people may think of it. So for this episode, I hope that people have gotten a little bit better idea of who I am and what I'm doing, why I'm doing this. And I hope that you can take that knowledge and just apply it to everything that you hear on future episodes. You know, when we're talking about health and fitness recommendations, we've already put it through that filter of getting it to people and actually making it work. And we're coming to it from maybe a more similar place than the audience might think.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. Anything to add to that, or is that a good ending point for the episode?
I think it's a fantastic time to just say, hey, if you want to know more, we'll do more.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, send us a message. You know how to find us, and if you don't, then the message part will be too hard also.
For sure. All right, let's end it.
All right, we'll get out of here with that.
All right.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening again. Hope to see you on the next one.